Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll look at how we can install Kali Linux 2026.1 on VirtualBox. So I have VirtualBox Manager open, and let's see what we need to do in order to install Kali Linux 2026. Now we'll need to download the image for Kali Linux. So all we have to do is open a browser and search for Kali Linux download. So I have a browser open. I'm just gonna search for Kali Linux download. And then just go to kalilinux.org. You want to go to the installer images, so click on that. So these are the options we have here. I'm just gonna go with this installer. So there's this option here. So if you click on this, it should begin the download. Now the file size is 4.4 GB, so it could take a while to download based on the speed of your internet connection. Now I did already download this image. I'm gonna cancel. So let me go ahead and cancel this, and then we'll go ahead and begin the installation. Now this is the image file that you get once the download is completed. It's a Kali Linux 2026.1. Okay, and it's AMD 64.iso. Okay, so on VirtualBox, we'll click on New here. You'll need to give your VM a name. I'm going to call it Kali Linux 2026. And then you can select the folder where you want the VM to be installed. I'll select the image later, the ISO image. So this is the OS is Linux. Let's see what's on the list. There's no option for Kali Linux. I'll go with Debian. Debian 64-bit is fine. Next, here you'll need to select the amount of memory you want to give your VM, okay, based on the amount of memory on the host machine. And then number of CPUs. I'm going to increase this to 2. And then the disk size, let me increase this to 40 GB. Then click Next, Finish. This is the VM. I'll right click on it and go to Settings. Let's look at what we need to change here. Remember, we didn't attach the ISO image yet, so we need to attach it. But let's also look at other features here. So share clipboard, you want to enable bidirectional. Same thing with drag and drop. Okay, and let's look at the system. Here, I'm not using a floppy. I'm gonna uncheck that. We're using optical drive. We'll move that up. Move that up. Okay. Display, you can increase this. And let's go to storage. So right now it says empty. So click on empty and then click on this icon. Choose a disk file. Navigate to where you have your ISO image for Kali Linux. So this is it right here. Select it, click open. Now it's attached. Okay. And then you can look at the other options like the network. Default one is not. I'm going to use bridge adapter. That way I can access this VM from other machines on my local area network. Everything else I'm going to leave as default. I'm going to click OK. Now we're ready to power on this virtual machine. Right click, start with GUI. And you might have to click here to see it. So there it is. Graphical install. It's the first option. Just press enter to select it. Minimize this here. Okay, here we'll select the language. I'm going with the default English. Continue. My location, continue. Key map, English, continue. So right now it's configuring the network and it's using DHCP. You can give your machine a host name. I'm just going to leave it as Kali. Continue. Domain. You have a domain name, you can put it here. Let me just put a random domain name here. Continue. Put the name of your user here. It's going to put Eno. Then put your username. So put the username here. I'm going to leave it the same as the user. Now here you'll need to put in a password for that user you just created. You can always show password here to make sure they match. Continue. Configure your clock. Select your time zone here. Continue. Okay, so partitioning of disks. I'm gonna go with the default guided, and it's gonna use the entire disk. Continue. So this is the only disk partition that it's showing, so I'm going with that. Continue. And I'm just gonna go with the default here. As far as the partitioning scheme, continue. So it's gonna give you an overview of your partitions. Then you can undo changes, or you can finish partitioning and write changes to disk. I'm gonna continue. Do you want to write the changes to disk? Yes. Continue. So it's installing the base system. I believe there's one more selection that's gonna pop up that's got to do with the bootloader. So let's wait and see. So here you're being asked to select the software. I'm just gonna go with the defaults here. I'm not gonna add any software from the list. Continue. So I'm just gonna pause the video and come back if we have to input anything. Okay, so at this point we see that we have a pop-up window that's asking whether we want to install grab bootloader to the primary drive, and the answer is going to be yes. Click continue, and then you have to select the device for the bootloader. It's only one option. Select it and then continue. So it's finishing the installation here. So the installation is almost done. So the installation here is complete. You can click continue. So if you click continue, it will reboot. So the system is booting up. So here is the login window. We have to input the username we created when we were configuring the virtual machine. And then you have to put in the password for that username. So there we are, we are logged in. Now there's a few things I normally check once I do a new install. The main thing for me is to make sure I have internet access, and we can use the terminal for that. You just have to make sure you have a valid IP address. Go to preferences. So let's see if we can change the font here. We go to session, preferences. Under appearance, you see this is the font. You can click change, and then you can just increase the size here. You can also increase it. You can also change the type of font. I'm just going to change the size here to 16 points. Click apply, OK. And now I can check the IP address. The command check the IP address is IP address. Now this is the loopback, and this is the actual IP address for this interface. It's 0. So I do have a valid IP. Next thing is to make sure that my DNS is working. So I'll do DNS lookup. Let's say google.com, and I'm able to resolve google.com to this IP, to these different IPs. So my DNS is right here. This is the DNS server. The port is 53. So here is a list of the different IP addresses, IPv4 addresses and IPv6 addresses for Google. And we can also check the version of Kali Linux. We can do cat 8c OS release here. So it's 2026.1, and you can open a browser to make sure you have internet access. And let's go to bbc.com, and I have internet access. So that's all for this video. That's how you can install Kali Linux 2026.1 on VirtualBox. So I hope this information has been helpful. I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.